Hello everyone and welcome back to my The Young and Restless 24 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Traci Abbott to be cautious. Sharon Newman will await an answer from Nick Newman. Chelsea Lawson just might fall into passion. Traci to suppose about Alan Laurent/Martin Lawrence proposition. Traci loves Alan veritably much and still wants to get wedded. Still, when that clinic security alert kept going off, the psychiatrist claimed he must be addressed. The fact that Alan also sounded to suppose it would be intriguing and fascinating to have one's identity stolen was a red flag. While Alan snappily covered, Traci could suppose about that alert and hacking reason formally again. It's teased that Traci will meet up with Jack Abbott and Diane Jenkins Abbott, the bridegroom to be, will open up to them and get some advice. Of course, Diane and Jack suppose Alan is great. So, they might brush it off and prompt Traci to get to some marriage planning. Alan pitched the idea of going down to Paris. So, it seems that Traci wouldn't be safe if she's out of the country. However, Alan could exclude the trouble, and we clearly don't want that. If she keeps asking too numerous questions. She had asked if wanted to join her and Faith Newman to Europe. Sharon also wants to reunite with Nick, but does he want the same thing? Over with Chelsea Lawson, it appears she might get intimate with Adam Newman. While Chelsea wanted to take it super laggardly at the morning, effects have clearly progressed. Now a reunited couple, it seems effects are going well for them, and Connor Newman as well. Still, cleaner loves always have complications and roadblocks. So, what's going to be in Chatham's path next? Can they overcome any challenges? There might also be an update on the disquisition into who abducted Sharon and Phyllis. This could have Alan doing major damage control to stop himself from getting fractured. If Traci is engaged to Alan or his evil binary Martin. Suckers know that Martin apparently failed when they fell out the window in Paris. Rather of switching places, could this be a cerebral issue? Does Alan have grief-convinced psychosis? All of this started while Alan was treating Ashley Abbott's dead. Still, suckers flash back that Martin abducted Alan at some point and began to impersonate him. The problem seems to have happened when Ashley ended up with several personalities to deal with this. Martin had supposedly been committed at one point. Martin was jealous of Alan and wanted to be like him rather of being the family who had to be taken care of. Still, Martin fully meddled with Ashley's head while he was impersonating Alan. Ashley allowed. She had told Alan Commodity that he didn't flash back at all. Alan believes she participated this information with Martin rather of him. Martin extorted annihilation when he was posing as Alan, especially with Ashley. Ashley was happily married to Tucker. Ashley and Tucker had one little argument that Martin blew out of proportion, and that was the end of them. Tucker tried to tell Ashley that effects were ent as she flashed back them but could no way get through to her. Tucker tried several times to fix effects with Ashley to no mileage. It was ent until Alan was discovered and Martin was exposed that Ashley eventually admitted that she was wrong. Ashley was ent ready to try and repair effects, but she and Tucker parted as musketeers. Martin's damage is ent fully done yet, as Ashley has told her son she is ent 100 yet. Alan feels veritably bad that he couldn't help his family. Unlike Martin, Alan actually loved his family and wanted him to get better. Alan wanted a relationship with him. Alan was overwhelmed with grief because he criticized himself for his family's death. Still, it's a relief that his family cannot hurt anyone differently. Now Alan has abducted Phyllis Summer and Sharon Newman and put them through a huge trial that affected them both psychologically. Since Martin and Alan couldn't have really switched places, could Martin have did himself and a alternate personality being none other than Martin? Maybe this is the only way that Alan can live with the loss of his family. Claire Newman has 5 cold words she might use to Summer Newman when Claire takes charge of the situation. Summer's been crossing over into some fighting words home, and as far as Claire is concerned, this means war, and she needs to stay in her own lane. Summer has been pushing boundaries recently with her snide reflections aimed at Claire and her sweats to revitalize her relationship with Kyle. While Kyle has shown understanding towards Summer and her family issues in recent months, it doesn't excuse her jest. towards Claire, treating her as if she's insignificant. Immaculately, Kyle would be more assertive in establishing boundaries and addressing Summer's conduct when demanded, but he's taking her mama's discoveries into consideration. It's accessible that Kyle is traipsing precisely, given the fermentation Summer has been facing, particularly with Phyllis Summer's mysterious exposure. After all, it hasn't been all that long ago that they were dealing with Phyllis faking her own death under constraint and she nearly failed in that auto accident Jordan caused. Yet, Claire is likely to grow decreasingly frustrated with Summer now that Phyllis has been saved. Summer might continue to exploit Kyle's compassion, constantly complaining about the moping trouble posed by Phyllis's abductor. Claire presumably envisaged that chancing Phyllis would lead Summer to loosen her grip on Kyle, but rather, she may remain forcefully attached to him, which is bound to irritate Claire. Claire will observe Summer getting close to Kyle, setting the stage for some violent competitions among the three of them. However, it may just push Claire to her breaking point, and she wouldn't help but to take some serious action. If this dynamic persists. This leads us to the nipping words Claire might unleash on Summer. Kyle doesn't want you presently, pushed to her limits. Claire could bluntly inform Summer that Kyle has moved on. It's possible that in a moment of frustration, Claire will prompt Summer to face the reality that Kyle is truly done with her. While Claire generally has a compassionate nature, there might still be a hint of her inner Jordan lurking beneath the face. Claire's darker instincts could crop as she aims to decisively put an end to Summer's expedients. Indeed, though Summer anticipates a disastrous outgrowth for Claire and Kyle, Claire is likely to challenge that notion, seeking to demonstrate that they're fated to be together. Sharon and Phyllis floundering to move on knowing their prisoner is still out there running free. After an intimidating fire, Sharon was relieved to eventually be free. She expressed her gratefulness to Nick for delivering her, covenanting no way to take anything for granted again. Nick was just happy to have her back safely. But Sharon wasn't ready to just move on, she was determined to find out who orchestrated the hijacking. She indeed admitted to Nick that she and Phyllis compactly suspected their own children. Nick can't help but wonder if the prisoner got what they wanted out of this crazy situation. Sharon, on the other hand, sees an unanticipated tableware filling. Her relationship with Phyllis has changed for the better. Sharon can't shake the feeling that their prisoner has a deep understanding of psychology, likening the whole fire to an extreme interpretation of aversion remedy. Nick doesn't watch about the why, he's just thankful they escaped with their lives. Away, Sally told Billy this was one of the strangest hijackings she had ever heard of. She bothered about how snappily Billy dove in to help, considering it could have been a trap. Billy rued not giving Phyllis the benefit of the mistrustfulness, but Sally comforted him it wasn't his fault. He was just thankful they made it in time. Still, Billy wouldn't rest until the prisoner was caught. Meanwhile, Daniel and Summer rushed to embrace their mama, overjoyed to see her safe. Phyllis, who was savoring every moment of her freedom, was rapturous about the simple effects. Effects like choosing her own mess. But the riddle girding the hijacking dallied. Daniel wondered what the prisoner was trying to negotiate, and Summer stressed that her mama might still be in peril. Phyllis, still, claimed that she was well defended and refused to let fear control her. Latterly, Phyllis surprised Billy with a visit, declaring that she wasn't okay. She demanded her life back, and the key to that was Abbott dispatches. Billy bothered she was pushing herself too hard, but Phyllis claimed that work was the one thing keeping her predicated. Billy, who had assumed she abandoned him, apologized for banning her from the press release. Phyllis forgave him, and the two reaffirmed their cooperation. All the while, Chance and the GCPD worked lifelessly to track down the malefactor. A pivotal indication, a gas line stopcock, caught Chance's attention. It was a shocking discovery in bone. That Chance was sure would ultimately lead them to the malefactor. Meanwhile, Alan and Traci had an awkward exchange when she accidentally stumbled upon mysterious dispatches on his phone. Though Alan claimed he wasn't hiding anything, his response raised eyebrows. Traci's curiosity grew, especially when Alan's phone kept entering cryptic cautions about a security breach.